Oi! Ah, kangaroo! Benorf. Narfling.
Wexy Bazunia. Chips to the Yicks? Huh, dude.
Sul Sul, hello, and Labas. Welcome to this episode of the Payne Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year's 1381, it's day 3, and we're here starting with the Jacobsons, which are really down to just the Jacobsons, Kennard's wife Katerina, and Althea. So you'll see the war rolls later, but not to spoil anything. Unfortunately, Theo Matthews, which is Althea's brother, failed his role and was not able to be saved when we bled for him, which is unfortunate. And it means that Althea is now officially the last of her family. She's the last of her line. But we are here today because when they returned, Kennard found out that someone has been calling and hoping for Althea's hand. Now, if you don't remember Althea, she was the daughter of Blanche. Blanche ran away with a peasant, had a whole family, and so she has somewhat questionable lineage, even though she is descendant very, very distantly from the noble family several generations ago. Edwin has been concerned about the idea of getting her married in particular. And so he was really happy to hear that somebody has been calling around looking at getting her hand in marriage. So he's going to call the guy over and we're all going to kind of have a little meet and greet and see how Althea feels about him. But Althea actually doesn't really have a choice, to be honest. Like, she's going to marry him. It's already been decided for her and decided for next year. Oh, that's cute. They're autonomously sort of interacting with each other. Why don't you go ahead and talk about your relationship fears, since apparently that's something you're worried about? So I said in the last episode, but I don't think it made it into the cut, that recently I went through and I took out all of my mods, like all of the mods in CC, and I replaced them, which means that I am missing some stuff now, and some stuff hasn't been replaced. So every household that I load into, it's a new and exciting opportunity to discover what else I've forgotten to replace or what else needs to be replaced. So you guys might remember Lane of Lancaster. He was married to Leonor Flores before she passed away, trying to give birth to his child. He is a bit of a gold digger. It's true. He always has been, and I think he always will be. But he knows that Althea is a pretty big heiress. She is set to inherit, now that her brother has died, she is set to inherit, oh my goodness, why is he so angry? She is set to inherit like 122,000 simoleons. So she has, in fact, got quite a lot of money coming her way. Lane is not going with the story. He is meant to be presenting a pleasant version of himself to the family, and he's struggling with that. Oh, that's good. Okay. Can you please talk up Althea? Tell him, oh, you'll love Althea when you actually meet her. So go ahead and say hi now that we're all together. Golly, these guys are really getting in the way. I'm so sorry. Can you guys all go, like, you can go to a community space together because you're just kind of in my way right now. Thank you. Thank you. So I think that he'll now go ahead and say hi. I don't know how it'll go. Maybe they'll get along or maybe they won't. Golly, Edwin's just grieving. Edwin, when he came back and found out that Maritza had passed, was pretty upset about it. Obviously, he really cared about her. Oh, yay. So they got along. That's really good. I didn't know how they were going to feel about each other. Oh yeah, they did get along quite well. Why don't you tell him a dramatic story about the death of your brother, maybe? And you can complain about the freezing temperatures because it is making everything a lot harder. Now, I don't think that Lane is necessarily a bad sim. I can't remember what his traits are, but I don't think he's like a bad sim by any means. I just think he's a bit selfish is really my big take on him. He doesn't really care about other people like right now, and he is very much after money, finances, things like that. Althea's in black now because she is mourning her brother, but she actually seems to have recovered from it pretty okay. She didn't have any moodlets when I loaded in, so I guess she's just accepted that everybody in her family will pass away eventually. I don't know. You can share a secret with him, I guess, and express admiration since you guys seem to be getting along pretty okay. Oh, he's a young adult now, so we don't even know how they feel about each other. Wow, he aged up pretty faster than her, but I guess that is fairly historically accurate. So something else that's happened around here is that Adam Fitzroy has moved out. He is of age, and so now that they're back from the war campaign, which I'll put the war rolls up later, he has left to take over his inheritance, the estate that the Fitzroys lived in. Edwin is going back and forth trying to help him set that up, basically. So I'm hoping that these guys will just sort of develop a good relationship and become friends. They're going to marry next year, and then she'll be moving out to live with him. But this year is also the year that the Peasants' Revolt is happening. And so we've obviously had a lot of things going on related to the Peasants' Revolt. And so while we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and go over some of the big ideas. In 1381, of course, the Peasants' Revolt happened, but as I think I've mentioned before, it's not like it happened in a vacuum. There were a lot of factors that influenced the Peasants' Revolt happening. For example, the 1300s were a time of horrible climactic change, actually. I think I've mentioned before that it was the time of the Little Ice Age. Before this time in the past, Europe had been much warmer and winters were less intense. But around the start of the 1300s, the Little Ice Age happens, which is when winters became colder, longer, and there was a lot more snow. The Great Famine happened, as we remember, and it just became generally tougher to survive in winter at all. In fact, there's this website that I look at sometimes because I think it's really interesting called weatherweb.net. It doesn't exactly look like an academic source or anything, but it lays out a bunch of weather events that happened in 1300s England. And you can see that there's a real pattern of like increasingly intense storms basically over that period of time. Gosh, Edwin looks so happy to be making this salad. Of course, in addition to the Great Famine and the weather changing, the Black Death also happened, and it was a massive, horrifying shock to the system. The loss of life was so complete from the Black Death and from the waves of plague that happened afterwards that there were, in fact, entire villages that were completely lost and depopulated as a result. So that meant that the number of people who were skilled laborers who could do jobs, of course, became fewer. They wanted to negotiate for higher wages, which seems fair to us, right? But as we've mentioned before, the royals didn't want that to happen. They didn't want to have to pay more money, basically, and they didn't want anybody getting above their station. And so they basically set all of these rules in place to say that people could not ask for more. In 1349, they made the Ordinance of Laborers, which set wages at pre-plague levels and stated that people could not ask for more. When that was ineffective in 1351, they added a statute of laborers saying that if you tried to negotiate for higher wages, then you would be punished with things like being branded. Enforcing laws at this time was obviously incredibly difficult. However, the king went out of his way to make sure that this was the one that was enforced. There were also, of course, a bunch of sumptuary laws saying that you could not wear things that didn't match your station. And so there were a lot of ways in which they were trying to make sure that people knew what their place was. Overall, though, things have been going kind of okay-ish. People weren't exactly happy with the situation, but Edward III was a very beloved king. However, when he and his son, the Black Prince, died, that left his teenage grandson, Richard II, in charge. And of course, he was too young, so there was a council of regents who were put in control of the decisions. Now, having a teenage king is already unsettling enough for people because there's a lot of instability that comes with that, and the people don't know if they can rely on the crown being stable. But add to that there's this regents council and that his uncle is John of Gaunt, who was very much hated at the time by pretty much everyone. That made people feel even less comfortable with everything that was going on. And so over time, resentment really started to grow and people got pretty upset. So all of these things together expose the fact that the hierarchical structures of the time weren't really working for the people. The church, which should have been a direct link to God, wasn't offering any answers or protection from these big, massive things like pestilence and war. Not only that, there was increasingly this feeling that the church was corrupt and that they couldn't trust the church. Kings who were meant to be in their position by divine right weren't doing anything to help either, and in fact, they were hurting everybody more with all of the increasing taxes that are going on. Serfs, who made up most of the population, were not free to move around when they wanted. They could not own their own land. They could not choose to not do work. They couldn't negotiate for wages or price increases. They couldn't marry when they wanted. They couldn't make their own bread. They couldn't do anything, basically. There were laws about everything that a serf could do. Everything cost money or required the Lord's approval, and life was really, really hard. So add on to that whole situation the increasing taxes for the past decade at this point, and the poll tax. The poll tax, we've seen how badly it affected the main family, just this kind of imitation of it. It shows just how bad it was for people at the time. And that was basically it. Once that happened, the average person had seen their family decimated by climactic emergencies, by war, by disease, and they just wanted to survive. So with the taxes adding on and adding on, it made it feel completely impossible to survive. Two men kind of became leaders for this anti-taxation sentiment that became really popular. One was a guy named John Ball, who was a radical preacher who had already been in and out of prison because of his, quote, heretical and extreme perspectives. The other one was Wat Tyler, who it's believed was likely a military man based off of a lot of the things that happened. John Ball was seen as heretical and radical at the time because he suggested that people should expect societies to work for them and that social class wasn't invented by God, but by man, and that each human deserved a dignified life, regardless of the laws and regardless of what the nobles said. Pretty wild stuff, right? That everybody deserves rights. It wasn't long before Wat Tyler was leading armies to the city of London, and there it was the city of London itself that let the armies in, because the people of the city were also fed up with the taxes, and they hated John of Gaunt, which really aligned them with the rebelling group. When the armies got to London, they let in a bunch of other people who were also angry, and together they rampaged and destroyed a lot of stuff, particularly things they felt represented the unfair situation. For example, the building that housed all the documents which said who owned what was a building that they burned down. And the Savoy Palace, which was John of Gaunt's estate in London. It was this place where he lived a very wealthy, extravagant life. They stormed that, and inside they found 10,000 pounds of movable goods. That's life-changing money at this point in time. But rather than taking it, because the money wasn't really the thing that they were after, it was the principle of the thing. They threw everything that they couldn't burn into the river, and they burned the entire house down. So Richard II was at this point in time hiding in the Tower of London because he, of course, didn't want to get caught up and hurt in the whole rebellion that was going on. However, he himself left the tower to go meet with the people who were rampaging around the city to discuss what could be done to stop the rebellion. And when he met with them that time, he promised that he would abolish serfdom. He promised he would let them negotiate wages. He promised he would get rid of the laborers' ordinances, and he also promised that he would pardon everyone if they would go home and stop destroying the city. Wat Tyler did not believe him. He knew that if they left the city, then they would lose all leverage that they had, and so he led a second charge in which they actually managed to capture the Tower of London, which had been thought to be completely impossible. When Richard the King met with the group a second time, Wat Tyler really rubbed him the wrong way. He told Richard basically that he can't trust his word. He called Richard the King his brother, which apparently was a massive insult, and he had the gall to eat and drink in front of him, which apparently peasants and serfs aren't allowed to eat or drink in front of the king. After that, Wat Tyler got stabbed a heck of a lot of times. He didn't make it out of that meeting. Everyone at the meeting was attacked, and after that, all of the leaders of the rebellion were hunted down, and a lot of people got rounded up and, of course, taken out of society, as we know. Richard the King also gave a really nasty speech at this meeting where he said, "Rustics you are and rustics you shall be," which was his way of saying you were born to unfreedom and you will stay unfree for your entire lives. Something, though, that's kind of interesting is that a lot of women were named as leaders, which partially was because there were women leading some groups of men as they went through the city, but also was partially because women were not executed at the time. So if they were named as a leader, they would get brought in and they would have to pay a fine, but they would just be let go after that, which is obviously different to how we do it for the challenge's sake. Although the Peasants' Rebellion didn't actually achieve any immediate change or do anything big at the time, the sentiment and idea that every human deserves to have rights does spread, and it's something that will not go away, even though changes representing that will take a really long time. And so that's where we'll leave the ideas of the Peasants' Revolt. And I'll go ahead and put up the war roll so that you guys can see what happened at the war campaign. And then in the morning, we'll be with the next household. For this phase of the 100 Years' War, we're going to roll a d20 where the number 14 means death. Please don't let anybody die. Okay, if anybody dies, please choose wisely because we have a lot of Sims at this war campaign actually who are the end of their line. Edwin first. Okay, he's fine. What about Kennard? Is fine. What about Adam the Third? Oh, thank goodness. What about Theo? No, come on. I just almost said not Theo.
New play. Tribna.
My God, not Theo. It's always my favorite ones. Richard. What about Alaric? Of course. What about Alec Blount? What about John Blount? What about youngest Pompey? Rhymes with Stompy. He's fine. Godwin Woodhamps is fine. What about Gunther Stenson? A mercenary. Lucia Payne is fine. Beatrix? What about Brenna Brewer? Althea Matthews? Oh, thank goodness, because now Althea is the last of her family line. Like, she and Theo were the only two survivors of Blanche, and so Althea is our last hope now. And last but not least, Cade. Okay, good. So for the others, we're going to roll to see does anything special happen. Any odd number will result in some kind of consequence for these guys. Some of them are positive and some of these are negative. So let's just go ahead and see what it is that happens. Edwin first. Nothing. Kennard. Nothing. Adam the Third. 13. He received respect from higher ups and gained some reputation. What about Richard Jacobson, who recently became a teenager? Nothing. What about Alaric? Nothing. Alec Blount? Recognized for war efforts. That's good for him. He's a pretty quiet character. What about his oldest, John? Nothing. What about Pompey? Rhymes with Stompy. I can't not say it. What about Godwin Woodhamps? Gunther Stenson? Oh my goodness. Gunther just got loot. What a like pirate move to make. So Gunther is of course with the pirates now because he ran away from Henrika of Narva after he became paranoid about the fact that she'd poisoned those crusaders all those years ago. You guys probably just saw the Decade in Review, so you remember. Because he's with the pirates now, he's always out there going after money, and he came here to become a mercenary. And so it is kind of funny that of all of the Sims to get loot, it happens to be him. I'll roll to see how much he gets in a minute. This is for Gunther's sort of like self loot. I'm gonna roll on a d10. I think that's fair. So first one doesn't count. Wow, that's a fat paycheck, dude. 6,000. Well, I guess he did risk his life. What about Lucia? 19. Oh my gosh. Lucia was dishonored for being a bad soldier. She's gonna lose some reputation, but she'll never have to return to another war campaign. Oh my gosh, that's so funny for Lucia. Oh my god. Oh man, that really got me. I can't believe that. What about Beatrix? 11. Come the heck on. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, that's okay. We can pay the ransom. Her brother is very wealthy. Can't believe that. What about Brenna Brewer? Number 3. Physical injury. Oh, poor Brenna. She's having a rough go of it. First marked for death after failing a roll, and now this. And what about Althea? 19. I'm going to say that she's not like dishonored because she didn't lose her honor, but they basically are like, yeah, we don't want you coming around our war camps again because we don't want to have to take care of you as a noble lady. And last but not least, Cade. Nothing for him. Okie dokie. Oh, goodness. All right, so here we are at Amelie's childhood home, which has been inherited by her oldest child, Edmund, and his soulmate, Alvar, is here with him. As you saw, Beatrix actually was captured and taken for ransom, but luckily Edmund was able to pay that ransom. She'd already sent word to him that she was in France and wanted to see him, so she is here. Oh my gosh, Beatrix, this is so classic you. But yeah, Beatrix sent word to Edmund while she was at the war campaign that she was in France and that she wanted to see him. And it's good that she did because she was captured and held for ransom. And he was the only one who was going to be able to pay it since the family had lost so much money. He also had already planned on trying to help her out. Oh my gosh, Beatrix has got an ailment. I'm sending her to the naturopath because look at how much money Edmund has. Also, I've got things to do today and I don't want everyone getting an ailment. Oh dear. How's the cooking going over here, fella? Where is the food? Alvar's over here cooking just because he likes cooking. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. Well, I guess since we're just sitting here waiting for her to come back and we can't do anything yet, Edmund, can you go over here? Edmund aged up to a young adult yesterday, and he really looks older, like just out of nowhere. Also, here's his rolls. Edmund Payne cannot roll the numbers 6 or 14 to survive his young adult birthday. Shut up, dude. Oh my god. I know that we don't play with him that often these days, but like I actually really care about him and was planning this whole thing for his future. He and Alvar were supposed to have a future. Oh my god. So yeah, can you believe it? Edmund failed his birthday roll. He wasn't supposed to have a forgotten birthday. It's just that I got here a little bit too late, and so he just aged up right before I started. But yeah, can you believe it? It's so sad. And we're going to go ahead and start a gathering. All right, so quite a lot of things have happened since the last time that we were here with Edmund and Alvar. Well, I guess we haven't really been with them since the last time we've seen them. I hope the Selma is coming. Well, anyways, so basically, since then, Edmund and Alvar have gotten settled into their lives here. They've let Harold return back to England to develop his own life, but they sent him away with quite a large payment for the help that he gave them and getting their estate sort of settled down and everything. He actually, on the way back to England, ended up meeting his soulmate on a ship, which it was Valdis Blackwood, and they became soulmates and they are one true loves with each other, which is really exciting. Also, in addition to that, what are you guys doing? Oh, I must have a creative thing. Also, in addition to that, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Also, in addition to that, Beatrix finally met her soulmate. It was the guy that was asked to come and help deal with the whole ransom situation. And he is a French noble. Where is he? He is a French noble named Antoine. He actually came over, helped her to get free. And, oh, he's playing over here. Why don't you go and say hello? They've been on a few dates together. They met and they became soulmates instantly, and they get along super duper well. This is all from autonomously just going on dates together. She's very attracted to him. She knows that he's generous. And right now they've only got fine sort of satisfaction with each other, but that's because she really wants to get married. My goodness, she really wants to get married. And she is impatiently waiting. But now that the family are here, they are going to get married very soon. So Harold, when he went back, he told them that Edmund and Alvar wanted them to come to France, that Beatrix had found her one true love, and that she had a marriage coming up. And so they basically came over so that they can be here for the wedding, which will happen very soon. Beatrix actually becomes a young adult herself in 2 days, so she's a bit older now, and she is just ready. She's just ready to be together with somebody that she actually loves. It's been a long time coming, and so she's very excited about it. Alvar's happy to be here with his one true love, and Edmund. They're really happy together. And so they're just really excited that all of their family is here. Beatrix is really happy that she's found somebody that she feels so strongly about. I think I've mentioned before that she has been attracted to Sims before, and she has been friends with people before, but she has never actually felt that deeply about anybody. She kind of just is friends with them and then kind of moves on from being friends with them. She doesn't really much mind about continuing on a relationship with them. And so the fact that she's finally found somebody is very exciting. But she is also really sad that she's going to be, leaving her family behind, that she's going to be so far away from her family. And so that's kind of sad for her. She doesn't want to be so far away from home, but she is also excited to get to learn more about her mother and what her mother's life was like and to live here. So that's pretty thrilling for them. Oh yeah, I guess we should see him closer. This is Antoine. He is generous, like I mentioned before. He's also a teenager. They have a really great relationship that came about very naturally. And this is Antoine's father, Henri. And he doesn't quite know what to think about Beatrix. He understands that she was not born a noble, even if she has noble blood. But I don't know. He's not getting in the way of it, which is all we can hope for, Oh, they're feeling flirty? You too. I mean, I don't really think that we need to ask to be a romantic partner. I think it goes beyond words, but yeah, do it. So Beatrix is, really sad that she won't be able to spend time with her family as much and that she's not going to see them all the time. But she is really excited about her future, and she's really excited that she's found the person that she is going to be with for the rest of her life, It felt for a moment there like Beatrix was never going to... Oh, that's cute. It felt for a minute there like Beatrix was never going to find her person, Like she just wasn't going to be able to figure out what was best for her, and that she was going to be another Lucia who never found, the one, if we could call it that. But I'm really happy that she has found somebody who is right for her and that she's going to be very happy in her future. Oh my goodness. Beatrix, you're going to pee your pants in front of all of these people, including your future father-in-law. You might want to just go ahead and put the drink down. Oh, he's over here talking to Selma and Edgar. Maybe he's thinking, oh, you guys aren't so bad. You guys are pretty okay. Oh, that's why. They're even toasting each other. They're toasting each other to the upcoming nuptials, maybe. Oh, it's cute. Very cute. This is obviously incredibly exciting for Esmond and Genevieve, who have gotten the opportunity to go so far away, and it's not for war. They're over here and they're getting to see a new country. Of course, it's not the best weather in the world, but at least they made it here safely. Because Edmund has so much money, he's able to pay for the nicest things that money can buy. So they had a pretty comfortable journey over here after all, because they had the opportunity to travel in really, really great conditions. And so it's nice for them that they had that opportunity to travel that way and to come over here and to meet these guys so that they're able to, you know, see who their daughter is going to marry. I guess you could go ahead and ask him to meet your father. That would be really nice if you could ask him to meet your father. Okay, let's hope this goes well. If it doesn't, it could be like really awkward. I wish that Henri wasn't standing right in the way. Oh, it looks like they got along. Oh, thank you. Dad, thank you for approving of my partner. And I think that this is going to be the moment in front of all of their family as witnesses. This is the moment when Antoine is going to actually say, now that everybody is met and now that your family can see us, let me go ahead and formally ask you for your... Everyone's in the way. I should have known this was going to happen. Let me go ahead and formally ask you for your hand in marriage. Alvar, you ruined it. That's okay. We can still see her face, I guess, with Alvar's sweaty shoulder in the way. Oh, that's pretty cute, though. Oh, with Edgar right there in the background. His daughter's gonna get married. Oh, so cute. Happiness, love. It's everything that we could ever hope for. They're pretty excited and happy about their future together. They're ready to get it going. And they're also happy that the families are getting along so well. Oh my gosh, they really get along so well. That's fantastic. These guys are like totally becoming best buds over there. Beatrix has always been a bit of a wild girl, so I wouldn't be shocked if she asked him to go upstairs ahead of the wedding to spend some time together. It seems like something they might do. We don't need to try for a baby. That's an extreme. But I think that next episode, they will, in fact, be getting married. They will be getting married together, and the family will be here, which means that the family won't make it back to their home until the start of, I think, midway through 1382. Right now, some of the Greystrokes are actually over there looking after their home lot. They're taking care of the plants, although in winter they don't have as many plants they need to take care of. And they're sort of like just keeping an eye on everything over there. Oh no, our food has gone off. These guys are staying at an inn nearby, a really nice inn. It's just that this estate doesn't have enough space for everyone to stay. And so they're staying close by, just not quite here, is where they are. Oh yeah, and Beatrix has all new outfits now that she is basically a wealthy sim. She's becoming a noble just like her brother, partially because of the dowry and everything, and also partially just because of her lineage. Partially as well because of the marriage. The marriage will make her into a noble sim, so that's pretty exciting. So on that note, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this episode to a close. In the background, there were a lot of roles. So there were new babies born to Egla, to Osbert, and to Muriel Howard, which is very exciting. Ritus Miskinus, Inika Christensen, and Jane de Fenwick all became infants successfully. Kira Woodhamps became a toddler successfully, and her father Osbert also became a young adult successfully. Pompey Blount, Pompey rhymes with Stompy, Pompey Blount became a teenager successfully, enrolled to have 10 baby tries, so very much overachieving. Nicholas de Fenwick became an adult successfully, and Marielle Hagen actually failed her elder role. I went ahead and just dealt with it now instead of giving her extra time, because at the elder stage and with the fact that everything's kind of set forward and she's not making that big of an impact on the story right now, it just felt like the right thing. But overall, aside from Edmund's birthday fail, it was a really great half year for birthdays and for roles. So I hope that you've enjoyed this part. As always, let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comments section below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.